our first guest from Chicago, Duane Cerny. And let's watch this video. That'll tell us more about it.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm not sure what I'm looking for, I'm not sure what I need, but I'm sort of feeling Charles Eames and Ray knew just my style. And isn't it so wonderful when a chair can make you smile? I have dreams in vintage themes, I'm not sure what I want, but I'm sort of feeling Russell Wright, and how can that be wrong? And isn't it so wonderful when you find where you belong? Maybe I need Ava Zeisel, maybe I need Paul McCobb. It's this endless recycle, making my heart throb. Oh, how could I even try to choose, to make up my mind when I'm so confused? Nothing's amusing when you've lost your muse. Should I say no to Noguchi? Might I say yes to Thone? This is yesterday's future today. If my designs on life seem grand, it's just that I have dreams. I'm all in love with vintage, it seems. I must confess, I'm one modern mess. I need that mid-century find, that Eros Saarinen kind, or my own vignule. Wouldn't that be cool? So many things I've wanted, chasing the past in my way, wishing away tomorrows someday. If my designs on life seem grand, you must blame Charles Eames. I'm all in love with vintage, so all in love with vintage. I'm all in love with vintage and dreams.
Oh, wow. Duane, hello there.
Hello. Hello, Amber.
So that is your shop there?
Yes, that is my shop, yes.
Oh, my God. How big is it?
It's 20,000 square feet.
Wow.
2 floors. It was a vintage furniture store built in 1939.
Oh, so, all right. So how did you get started in the vintage business?
Wow. Briefly. So I was a paralegal and a copywriter, and I would do advertising for small businesses. And I would shop at a store in town, which was the biggest store in town, antique store. And I would buy things there. The one time I came in, and the woman whose husband owned the business said, you know, you should do some marketing for us. but we can't pay you. We don't have any money. And she said, but I'll give you a booth in the basement. And that's really how it started. I didn't know what I was doing at all. But it started, and I brought in a business partner, and we rented a couple more booths, and we had a third of the basement. And unfortunately, that place closed, and we opened up a store across the street, and then opened up another store, and opened up another store. And then 8 years later, we moved into Edgewater on the north side of Chicago into this fantastic old furniture store. And that was that's 30 years now.
Wow, what a great story. And it's not just it's not just a retail store. You do props for shows and for TV shows.
As a matter of fact, when we were speaking earlier, the video that you just saw, the crew was from Chicago Fire, who filmed it. And actually, that was a friend of mine, Mark Contorno, wrote the music, and that was the mega talented Jordan Phelps, singing and dancing his heart out, and I wrote the lyrics to the song.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, we were talking earlier when I heard he was from Chicago. I asked him, I've been binging Chicago PD, trying to catch up. And he says he's done props for Chicago PD, but he hasn't met any of the actors. So you got to work on that, Duane.
Yeah. I'm busy.
So what do they do? If someone from who comes in to talk to you from Chicago?
The prop people come in, and generally they have an idea what they want, and they take a bunch of photos and they send it to the stylists and the set decorators, and they say yes, no, and then they buy it, rent it, whatever. Right now we're propping a film called Ripple Effect, so that's going to be out, I think, next year. I'm not sure what the format is, who's putting it out. But we did Candyman, which was the Jordan Peele film. We're doing commercials, and this is all in addition to our retail presence.
Okay, so you tell me about your book that you wrote. I love the title.
Yes. So, well, I would go on these estate sales, and I always put this out there that I've done, gone on 1,000 of them easily. And so it's not like every time I walk in the door, something interesting happens. No. But everywhere, once in a while, I stumble upon something that I just cannot believe, and I would just take notes. And so, basically, I took one of those little notes and I turned it into a story. So it's a true story. I had other dealers with me, and on a whim, just total whim, I sent it off to the New York Times, and I got a pile of rejections behind me, this high, right? And darn if they didn't publish it. And that was called Traces of a Man Who Disappeared. And caused all kinds of controversy. Anybody wants to Google it, you can. It's out there on the New York Times website. And that became the opening chapter of the book. And so they're all true stories of different estates that I've been involved with. And they really cover the waterfront. I mean, there's things about, my gosh, there was one for a beekeeper. And I didn't know anything about beekeeping, but it was, and then I learned about colony collapse and all of that. There was one that turned into an animal rescue. I mean, I really never know where it's going to go. And there's a couple stories that are a bit on the paranormal, which for this first book, I decided I should tell them, because this is just what happened. I can't explain it. And people have loved it. It's been a bestseller on Amazon twice. It's been the number one antique book on Amazon USA and Canada. It's in its fourth printing. People just seem to eat it up, because I don't think there's anything like that. People in my business, we tend to be pretty private about it, and there is a privacy element to this. So I only told stories that I could tell, in that this has happened, 5 or 10 or 15 years ago, or I got permission from family members to actually tell the stories.
The book sounds like a great premise for a TV series.
Yeah, it's what I've been told. hasn't happened yet, but
well, you and me, let's work on that.
Okay.
So, all right. So, how do you find out about these estate sales? You scour the papers. People contact you.
Yeah, people contact me. By this point, the internet is the great, telegraph, thing. So yeah, generally it's that. And then there's people a lot of times there are it's not so much like there's this. It's almost when there isn't an estate sale per se, where they can't have a public sale. They have to bring in someone privately, maybe because it's in a high rise and people don't want, with the doorman, people running in and out, or just from a home, they just don't want the public there. Or I'm brought in before a sale or after a sale. So it's always different. But again, every couple hundred sales, something comes along, and I go, what's going on here? And you need to be a bit of a priest and a rabbi and a social worker. It sounds like a joke, right? You have to wear a lot of hats in this, because you're often walking into, an ending. This is someone's estate. This is someone's life. So I always approach it with great respect and reverence to the situation. But invariably, family members, oftentimes they'll want to tell you about, this person and what they collected and what's going on. Though I will say that when there isn't someone there to tell me, I have to figure it out. And that's where I get to wear my detective hat and kind of dig down into like what happened here. The beekeeper was an example of that. He just disappeared, but the bees disappeared as well, which was the problem. But some of them were still there. So, and that's what colony collapse is about. So all the rudiments of beekeeping, all the equipment were there, the hives were there, and I didn't even know what they were. I'm looking at all this, stack of all these white boxes. What are those? When I first saw them, I thought it was some, DIY project gone wrong. And in fact, that's what it was. And as it was explained to me from someone who was just cleaning up at the estate, he said, this guy, the bees were his pets. That was like people have a cat or a dog, and he just loved these bees. And when they didn't come back, it was just over for him. I mean, that's a thing. So I feel a lot of the stories, I've learned a lot about human nature, and it's about the people and the stuff and that connection. I always say, what is even Amber, what's, in your home right now, it didn't get there by accident. Right. You picked it out, or you found it, or you inherited it, or a friend gave it to you. It's not a coincidence. But those objects say a lot about you, because those are your interests and your passion in life. And so even, God forbid, when we all go, those things are still there, and they reflect what you were interested in and what you were about. So it's different. I think, again, I don't really think there's a book like this, which is why it's resonated with readers so well.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating. It deals with antiques, which a lot of people have interest in antiques, but also history and also personal stories. Some secrets are involved, I'm sure. Right. And oh wow! Now, did you ever find something that you didn't know? What the hell is this?
Yeah, I guess that happens. That actually happens quite a bit, but often more it's identifying what something is and then what it's worth. So figuring out what it is the first part, and then what's it worth is another. What's somebody willing to pay for it? Now there have been things where let's just say things which I heard about in the state this week, which I wasn't involved in, but let's just say there are many items of an adult nature that were discovered. And even though it's a lovely man who was handling the estate, and he tried to get everything out as best he could, everything was donated to the church. You're gonna love that. And of course, the church ladies showed up early, as is their wont, right? And so, well, they got a lesson. Let me tell you. I'm sure they're somewhere telling that story right now. But that's what is this latex? What I don't know what this is. Yes. So sometimes these things happen.
Well, how exciting. And I love the idea of the book. And I know you have many stories to tell. So we'll have you back on, Duane.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, thank you. So we'll bring you back on later on in this show, because I want you to ask Woody some questions, because I'm sure you'll have something for him. So thank you very much, Duane. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Wow, that was very interesting. Thank you.